Hello folks, I'm actually a little bit ill today, so I was thinking instead of lying in bed and looking at the ceiling, what could I do? So I thought, a lot of people ask me what kind of films I have since I buy a lot of films, and they ask me how can I fit at home with so many films that I buy, because I buy movies, I don't download or Netflix, because that's cheating. But as I'm a collector, I thought I could share a piece of my collection, so I'm going to start with my Blu Ray collection. So I thought I'll start in alphabetical order, so if you like this video, I can do maybe a next one, and if you like it, I can continue doing it, and if you don't like it, I can stop doing it. Just write in the comments. So I'm going to start now. It's going to be a lot of American, of course, and British films, because I am very commercial in my collection, but I do like art movies as well. And I'm going to speak in English because my svenska vänner understand English also. So I hope the light will be okay, but I'm going to show you and see if you enjoy. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but it might be... I'm doing A to D, and you will be laughing at some of these titles, and I'm going to be embarrassed by some of them, but I'll try to explain. So let's start. This is not A, this is numbering first, and then we'll get to A. 10,000 BC. I am a crazy person when it comes to disaster movies, this is, of course, directed by Roland Emmerich, who is the master of disaster for the 90s and 2000s. So I kind of collect all films that he makes, and this is one of the films that he made. And I'm not a big fan of this, but it's got some great visuals, and it's an enjoyable film. That's all I can say about that. Continuing on Mr. Emmerich's road, 2012. Yes, the master of disaster. This is, if you like disaster movies, this is the ultimate disaster movie. I prefer the 70s disaster films, but this is a very good disaster film from modern times. Not that great. The ending is kind of silly and stupid, but it's an enjoyable film if you like this genre. 21 Jump Street. Yes. I actually bought this recently, and I had never seen it, and it is so funny, in my opinion. So me and my wife were watching it, and we were hysterically laughing. This is really funny. A great kind of a buddy cop film with Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. And, of course, all ladies like Channing Tatum. So I hear. So, recommended. I'm not for sequels as well. If I get the first one, I have to have the second one. And this is how the studios make money, of course, on people like me. 22 Jump Street, not as funny as the first one. It has some funny scenes, but it's way not... It's just not as good as the first one. But since I have the first one, I need the second one. 22 Jump Street. I love the 80s, and I grew up with Knight Rider and you know, MacGyver and all these things. And one of the shows that I was watching that I loved was the A-Team. But this is, of course, the film The A-Team. So this is starring, of course, not the original cast, but this is one hell of a crazy action film if you like crazy action film which has no brain. It has a fantastic scene with a tank that falls from the sky, and they save themselves by shooting down with the tank on the ground to stop the tank from falling. That's how crazy this is. The A-Team, the movie. Great music, the theme tune. I'm Swedish. Terry Gilliam, very good director. The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Yes, this Blu-ray is sadly not in a great... the quality of the picture is not great on this Blu-ray, so I hope they release a new version of this. But nevertheless, the film is great. At the time of its release, it was a big flop. It's one of the biggest financial flops of all time, which is sad because it is really imaginative and fantastic. If you like more of the, let's say, old classic fantasy films. Terry Gilliam, remarkable director. I like most of his stuff. It's really weird, the things he does, but that's like Tim Burton. He has a specific style, which, you know, as soon as you see the films, you kind of say, ah, that's typical Tim Burton or typical Terry Gilliam. And this is highly recommended. The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Also inspired by Czech filmmaker Karel Zeman, who also made a film about Baron Munchausen. Air America. I have seen this film once. I just want it because it's Mel Gibson and Robert Downey Jr. It's got some good flying action scenes, good fun, bubblegum popcorn movie. If you have a headache and you've been out drinking on a Saturday, this is a good Sunday morning movie. Now, I mentioned that I loved disaster movies, and when I grew up, this was my ultimate favorite disaster movie. This is so great. Arthur Haley's Airport. Yes, Burt Lancaster, George Kennedy as the legendary Patroni. Yes, this is a must and a great disaster film. Highly recommended. I really love this film. The music is great. The whole directing, the exciting scenes with there's a guy on board that has a bomb. Is he gonna blow up? Is he not gonna blow up the bomb? Great 70s stuff. Fantastic. The American. Yes, The American is a great kind of poetic film starring George Clooney. It was actually filmed in Sweden. The opening 10 minutes or so was shot in Sweden. Very like poetic film. It's kind of it looks like it's a giant action film with George Clooney holding guns, but it's really like poetic film. It's really beautifully shot and well acted, and a good sort of thriller drama if you like that kind of film. Highly recommended. The American. One has to have classics. American Graffiti. Yes, you need to see American Graffiti. George Lucas, before Star Wars, made this film. It is great. It's kind of a school get-together. No, sorry. It's kind of a. It's about the last night with your school friends. So I highly recommend this. This is George Lucas when he was young. I think it's not his first movie, one of his first movies anyway. So check that out. I'm going to stop now because my phone is saying the storage is almost full or something. So I'm going to continue anyway because I think this is fine. American Pie. Yes. American Pie, the whole collection. It's not the whole collection because they made a lot of spin-offs, but this is American Pie 1, 2, 3, The Wedding, and 4, The Reunion, which is the 4 films that you need if you like this kind of films. I love all these. I think it's like a reunion with family when you watch this. It's stupid, but it is highly enjoyable, and I think most of you have seen this. Can't say much about this. This is a very strange film. This is not Apollo 13 like many might think. This is Apollo 18, which was, I think, a small budget kind of movie, and it's I believe, a sort of horror movie. I've seen it once, but I don't remember much about it, but I think it's, yeah, it's not made by, there's not any famous people in it, or any, like, famous director or anything, and it's a bit freaky, so don't get this mixed up with Apollo 13, which is the classic Tom Hanks film. But if you like creepy space movies, this might be your taste. Armageddon. You have to have Armageddon. The Assassination of Jesse James. Oh, then the full title is, of course, By the Coward Robert Ford. A long movie with Brad Pitt. It is, I'm seeing here, 160 minutes on the back. Visuals fantastic. Acting is great. It is quite slow moving. But I like this film. It's not the greatest film in the world, but if you like Brad Pitt and beautiful movies and a little bit of a thriller drama kind of thing, then this might be recommended. I know some of you film nuts are going to criticize me for not giving the right description, maybe, or whatever, but okay, this is slightly embarrassing. I liked this when I saw it in the cinema. When then I saw it on Blu Ray at home, I was thinking to myself, what was I thinking? Because Australia isn't that good. It's a long film, again a long film, I believe, 158 minutes. A lot of Australian nature shots, lots and lots of Australia. Yeah, I think, again, Sunday morning after heavy drinking on Saturday, this might be it, but I'm not sure actually. It's too intense. There's too much CGI, and the acting and directing is just overblown in my opinion. At the time, I really liked it. It has fantastic visuals, in my opinion, but that's pretty much it. But, you know, for 3 hours, I don't know. Girls might like it. There's a lot of, like, romance in it. Australia. Okay, I'm going through Blu Ray collections. I have, like, sometimes part 1 on DVD and part 2 on Blu Ray. I don't know why, because I just started buying the DVD and then they changed to Blu Ray, and I didn't get to buy certain films and I have to rebuy some films. Yes, I do. This is one of those cases. Don't ask me why, but Alien vs. Predator 2, yeah, not good. But I'm a collector, so I need it. I don't have 3D TV, I don't have 3D Blu-rays, so I'm gonna have to go with 2D, but I am planning one day, when my child grows up and I've got enough money to buy a 3D TV. I do have, of course, the necessary movie, Avatar. I don't need to speak about Avatar. Everybody knows Avatar. I mean, every human being has probably seen Avatar. This is the 2D version. I need to get the 3D version when I get the technical stuff for it, because this is a must in 3D. Story's not that good, though, in my opinion. Okay, this is probably one of my all-time favorites. I think my favorite trilogy, and it's films that I never, ever get tired of watching. Back to the Future, 1, 2, and 3. I don't think I need to introduce this anymore, because this is a must for any film fan. This is the greatest trilogy ever made, and I should be using gloves holding this box, because I don't want fatty finger marks on it. '89, big year for big commercial movies, and it was a horrendous battle for the box office. But the winning movie of that year, Batman. Michael Keaton, in my opinion, the best Batman. Yes, even better than Christian Bale, because this is the way that Batman should be. This is the ultimate Batman movie. Watch this if you're looking for a good Batman movie. Batman Returns. Yes, again Michael Keaton. Highly recommended. Not as good as the first one, but this is great as well. Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. See it if you haven't, but you probably have. Okay, of course, we continue down the Batman line, so I have to have Batman Forever. I saw this in the cinema, and I like it. It's not as good, of course, as the Tim Burton movies. This is directed by Joel Schumacher. Different style, different visual style. Val Kilmer's in it, not Michael Keaton anymore. Val does a good job. It is entertaining, I think. And it's dark enough to be acceptable as a good Batman movie. Everybody knows what's coming. Batman and Robin, I must have it. It's really shite. This is a great film in my opinion, and it was, I think, the last film directed by the late Sidney Lumet, who did things like Dog Day Afternoon. This is, I think, his last film, and it's called Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. It's a great film starring one of my all-time favorite actors that passed away a few years ago, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and the other one is Ethan Hawke. Yes, Ethan Hawke. Very good. It's about two brothers who who are out of money and they need money quickly, so they decide to rob their own parents' jewelry store, and of course, it doesn't quite work out. Good movie. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Strange title. Tim Burton. Big Eyes. Based on the real story of a very talented painter, woman painter, who paints children with big eyes. She marries this man who takes credit for all her work. And everyone in the world thinks he's doing the paintings while she's back at home doing it and he's taking all the credit. Not a fantastic film. I thought it would be better, but it's an okay film, I think. An interesting film. Very different for Tim Burton, I would say. It's a very, very straightforward film, which doesn't have Burton-esque feel to it. So it was sort of a step back for him. I have never seen this film. I just wanted because I like Denzel Washington, and maybe some of you can put comments if you've seen it. It's called The Bone Collector with Denzel Washington and Brad Pitt's wife, Angelina Jolie. It's from, I think, 1999. Yeah, 1999. It's supposed to be some thriller, creepy mystery thriller film. I need to see it, so I cannot comment it, but I have this movie. This is a must. Bonnie and Clyde. Yes. Classic Warren Beatty, Faye Dunaway movie. Based on a true story, I believe. Classic from 1967, yes. You must see this if you haven't seen it. This is like, if you want to learn about film and the history film, this is one of the films you must see. Bonnie and Clyde. Classic. Okay, I don't like this film, and a lot of people are going to kill me for saying that, because it's Francis Ford Coppola. A film that I don't like by Francis Ford Coppola? Yes. I just don't understand this film, and I know I'm going to get comments by it, but Dracula from, I think, 1992. It's got Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, Anthony Hopkins, lots and lots of famous people. I don't particularly like this film. It's too weird. For me, Dracula has always been the Christopher Lee movies, the Hammer horror films from the 60s and 70s. That's the real Dracula. I'm going to buy those. I don't have those. I'm going to buy those. And when I do a recap of this video in 5 years, you're going to see them in my collection. The Bridge Over the River Kwai. I'm sorry if you cannot see the titles properly. Maybe it's the blinking, whatever. this is, I can't say, this is an absolute classic, one of those films that you, as a collector, must have. If you haven't seen it, see it. It's fantastic. I love it. I should be using gloves holding this. Okay, this is a bit weird, but yes, I like Sacha Baron Cohen. I think he's the new Peter Sellers in many ways. The way he does characters and just makes a buffoon out of himself. This is one of his worst, in my opinion, but yeah, Bruno. Making fun out of gay people, or he's not making fun out of gay people, he's really making fun out of other people that have a problem with gay people. It's pretty much a disgusting film because there's a lot of naked asses in this film, and but I laughed when I saw this in the cinema, and I like to have films with Sacha Baron Cohen ever since Ali G and Borat, so I had to get this. But this is not something I really put on very often. Okay, I was saying classics like Bridge over the River Kwai and Bonnie and Clyde. Bullet, Steve McQueen, Bullet. You must have this film and you must see it. It's got one of the greatest, if not the greatest, car chase ever filmed. You must see Bullet. Steve McQueen's badass character in this film. Maybe the greatest car chase is this film, or maybe The French Connection. I'm not sure. I can't decide. The Coen Brothers, Burn After Reading. I thought this film was hilariously funny. I highly recommend it because it's a film about nothing. Nothing at all. And that's what I love. How can you make a film for 2 hours about nothing? And Brad Pitt is hilarious. He plays a stupid, no brain in your head kind of character, and it's hilarious. I think it's a great, funny film. Okay, don't get confused now. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a crazy nut about James Bond, and I have the Bond collection, which is, I think you can see it right there. That's my Bond collection. I'm going to go through, if you like this video, I might be going through my boxes sometimes and stuff, and I'll show you that. But I do have some separate Blu-rays, and one is Casino Royale. But bear in mind, this is the 1967 Casino Royale, starring a lot of people. The whole Hollywood is in this movie. Woody Allen, David Niven, Ursula Andress, Orson Welles, who else? Yeah, Peter Sellers, yeah. I mean, it is the craziest film. It's from 1967, and it is a very long film. Also, I'm trying to see the running time here. 125 minutes, not that bad. But it's the most confusing and crazy film you'll ever. It's got 5 directors. They had no idea what they were doing. The production went crazy. Peter Sellers walked off set and he didn't want to come back, so that his scenes are not finished. And it's just intercut, and it's confusing as hell. It's a giant circus. It's the pre-film to Austin Powers. And you don't count this as a Bond film, but it is a Bond film, but it's not really. It's a parody. You have to see it to believe it. It's confusing. Okay, I have the Bond films like 5 times, and I have the films in my Blu-ray collection. I bought separately before the box came out, and it is Casino Royale. This is the 3-disc version. So that's how that looks like. Everybody knows about this film, so I'm not going to go through. This is fantastic. Daniel Craig's best Bond movie. I love Clint Eastwood. Who doesn't? Maybe a lot of people. I don't know. I like Clint Eastwood, and I like Clint Eastwood as a director. This is not maybe his best film, but I was very engaged and moved by this, based on a true story. Changeling, starring, again, Angelina Jolie, about a woman who loses her son and then gets her son back, although it's not him. And people are trying to convince her that she's out of her mind, but she gets the wrong child back. Or something. Don't, correct me, but it's down that line. I'm not going to go through the plot of each film. I'm just showing you what I have in my collection. I haven't seen this, but I'm going to see it. It's called Chappie. It's by a great director who did District 9 a few years ago, and I really like District 9, so I bought his new latest movie, Chappie. He's done Elysium, I think, in between as well, with Matt Damon, which I also have, which I'll get to when I get to E in my next video, because I'm only doing A to C, D now. So in my next video, in that case. Chappie, I have to check it out. I don't know. Yeah. Tim Burton. Again, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I've seen this when it came out in the cinemas in 2005. I liked it. Johnny Depp is cool. It's kind of a Tim Burton-ish movie. A lot of people prefer the Gene Wilder 1971 version, which is called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. This is called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Everybody knows this film, I think. I like it. It's not fantastic, but it's got great visuals and an enjoyable film. For kids, it's good. Okay, this is in two parts. Che, Part 1. Che, Part 2. Che Guevara. I don't think I need to give more details. Everybody knows who Che Guevara is. This, I think, is the, I want to say definitive version of his story, but it's got Benicio del Toro making one hell of a performance. I recommend. Steven Soderbergh directed, which is great. I think I've heard a lot of people that don't particularly like Che, but I'm sure there are maybe better versions, but I like this. This is good if you kind of like those kind of films. Okay, slowly coming over to Ian Fleming's only other contribution to books that wasn't anything about Bond, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the musical from 1968. I think every person in the UK has seen this film. It runs probably like, what, once a year, twice a year, Christmas movie. A lot of singing, dancing, great numbers, lots of colors, lots of happiness. It's a long movie, actually, also, 145 minutes. Yeah, good for kids again. Lots of singing and lots of dancing, and it's a classic. Okay, moving on to something completely different. A movie which I really liked, which came out a few years ago, 2004. It's called Closer. I think all the film buffs have seen this. Closer, Natalie Portman, Jude Law, Clive Owen, Julia Roberts. It's good. It's got intertwined stories and characters intertwine, and it's highly recommended. Good adult movie. Okay, this is, in my opinion, actually really good. I'm not a big fan of this fine footage film like Paranormal Activity, The Blair Witch Project, and so on, but this just came out of nowhere. There was no advertising for it, and it just blew my mind when it came, and it's called Cloverfield. This is film made as, like, filmed from one person's video camera, and it kind of never stops, so you just see everything from this video camera. It sounds not good, but it is very good. Very, very, I have to say, like, it's strange because it feels very big budgety, although I don't think it is. It's got some great effects, it's scary, and it's freaky, and it's shocking, and I like it. And there was a kind of semi-sequel that came out last year, I think, to it, which I need to see yet. Moving on to classics again, Cool Hand Luke. This is Paul Newman, and anything Paul Newman did, rest in peace, was fantastic. Except for When Time Ran Out, from 1980. Which is terrible. Cool Hand Luke. Lots of egg eating, I believe. This is a really good film, which I highly enjoyed in the cinema, and that's why I bought it. It's got lots of music, great acting. It was Oscar nominated for Best Film, I believe, but it didn't win. But it did win Best Actor for Jeff Bridges, and it's called Crazy Heart. About, I think he's like a drunken guitar player. I know that sounds not that appealing, but it is fantastic. Crazy Heart. Go see it. Go see it. Get it. Alright, I'm getting to the end. I know this video is long, but you know, lots of films. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Amazing effects where life goes backwards. He's born old and he dies a baby. Interesting idea. Great special effects. Played by Brad Pitt. In all ages, even the baby. And it's pretty mind-blowing. And it's fun to see that somebody ages in reverse, although it doesn't make sense really, but because he's born small but old, then he grows up and he dies a baby, so he shrinks again, which is like weird. But yeah, this is what that film is about. It's a pretty long film again, but it's a good film. I highly recommend that. I was talking about Batman before, and of course Michael Keaton is the Batman for me, but there is, of course, The Dark Knight, which is the sequel to Batman Begins, which I have on DVD, which I don't have on Blu Ray. That's why I'm showing this, because this is part 2. Heath Ledger's last performance. Not quite, but this is the last film that he completed before he died. And he was Oscar nominated for it. I think he got the Oscar for it. This is the best one out of the new trilogy. This one. See it. I'm just gonna show you this real quickly. This is of course part 3, The Dark Knight Rises. This is actually a steelbook. One of those hard steelbook things, which is, they are expensive, but I wish I had all movies on steelbook, but this is one of a couple that I have on steelbook. Beautiful cover. I love covers. Okay, I'm a big fan of this series, and especially since a couple of years ago when the... and I'm going to show you that in another video, and I'm just realizing this is the latest one, which is, you know, part 11 or something. But Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. The Planet of the Apes movies are fantastic. I love the films from the 70s, 60s and 70s. They're not that great at the end. But when the films were revived with Rise of the Planet of the Apes in 2011, I believe, I was shocked. The effects are mind-boggling, and I love Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And this is the sequel to it. And I believe this summer there's a sequel to this coming out, so I'm looking forward to that. This is a great film also. Highly recommended if you haven't seen the Planet of the Apes. But I think it's important that people watch them in order. You cannot just put this one on, because you'll be confused. The Deer Hunter. Yes, The Deer Hunter is a classic from 1978. You have to have it. It's Meryl Streep's, one of Meryl Streep's first films. It's got Christopher Walken in it, and a bunch of other famous people. It was directed by Michael Cimino. I'm not sure I pronounced that right, but you know, all those film buffs will correct me. This is a quite disturbing film, but a great film about Vietnam, the Vietnam War, essentially. It's not really about Vietnam War, but it's about the people involved in it and the things they have to go through. And this is you know, Oscar movie material. The Deer Hunter. Die Hard. This is the first one, the best one. Bruce Willis, great action. Also starring, a lot of people forget this, but it's also starring Alan Rickman, who passed away last year. Yes, Alan Rickman as the bad guy. Alan Rickman, as everybody knows, is from Harry Potter. The evil guy from Harry Potter, which I just cannot remember now. But write in the comments, you know what I mean, the greatest villain character in Harry Potter. So, yeah, Die Hard 1, a must-have for action movie fans. Die Hard 2, yes, I'm a completist, so I have to have all the films. Die Hard 2 is underrated film, in my opinion. It is a great action film. Not as good as the first one, but it's got all those airplane, lots of explosions, good, fun action of the 90s. This is the stuff that I grew up on. This is good stuff. Okay, Die Hard 3, but it's, you know, as you called, it's called Die Hard with a Vengeance. Part 3 is still good. It's a little overlong, and but it's good, man. I think in the Die Hard films, 1, 2, and 3 are still holding up very well, especially the first one. 2 and 3 are, you know, if I put 5 stars on the first one, 2 and 3 are sort of 4 and 3.5 stars. But this is still great. Die Hard with a Vengeance. Alright, I'm reaching the end. I have maybe 4 left to show you from the collection of A to D. Die Hard 4.0, but it was called Live Free or Die Hard, I believe, in the US, but this is the European release, so it's called Die Hard 4.0. Released 12 years after Part 3, so he's a lot older. I was skeptical, but I kind of like when Hollywood does the Part 4 many years later, because it's kind of like a tribute, retro thing for the audience who grew up with the original trilogy, blah blah blah. They did it with Rambo 4, Rocky 6, and there was something else they did. Oh, Indiana Jones 4, which was made many years later. I'm always skeptical, but I'm thinking, give it another one go, and if it's good, it's good. But when they start making 5, 6, that's wrong. 4 is good as a good retro, fun to see in the cinema again kind of thing. And this is a good retro movie. If you like Die Hard, then this is highly enjoyable. It's not of the caliber of the first 3, but certainly okay. But as I said, they just couldn't stop, could they? Because then came this film, A Good Day to Die Hard. It's an awful, terrible action film, embarrassing to Bruce Willis' character. Nothing like the first film. It is horrendous. I almost walked out of the cinema. This was so bad. It's got, you know, lots of action, but it is terrible. I don't want to speak about it. Yeah, why do I have it? Because I'm a completist. I need it, right? Okay, my last 2 films before I switch this video off, and I see not many people are watching this. Quentin Tarantino, Django Unchained. You have to have this film. This is great. I love all Quentin Tarantino films. I can't say that I do because I haven't seen The Hateful Eight. But all the films up to this are fantastic. And this is above middle in his set of films. The best being Inglourious Basterds, in my opinion. Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Basterds. But this is highly recommended, and it's got, of course, Christoph Waltz, which is one of the best actors working today. Very violent film, so don't, you know, show this to little children. It's got lots of blood and... And finally, my last movie that begins with the letter D is very special to me. It's a terrible film. It was filmed in Prague. I'm in it as a security guard, yes. If you look at the widescreen version for about 3 seconds. Doom with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. This is... the only reason why I got this is because I was in a